All right, we are recording. It is Monday night, January 27th. Welcome everybody to our team call. I'm Lisa Bloom, standing in for Dee and Larry Corchin, and I'm excited to talk about filling the funnel tonight. One of the things we've been doing before we start that topic is we've been doing up close and personal, get to know your team. And so Gina Manley, who's a coach on my team, is going to introduce our up close and personal coach from her team tonight.
Hi, everybody. I want to introduce Erin Blevins. I've known Erin for a million years in my past life, my past work life. And Erin became a client, not quite a year ago, and totally rocked the program and said, I really can do this as a coach. She's been doing a great job, so I'm going to hand it over to Erin.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. This was quick. I'm not really prepared, but I'm just going to say that I started in this. I watched Gina melt away, and I kept asking her every time she came to call on our facility, what are you doing? And she would tell me, and I'm like, oh, I can do that myself. I can't do it myself. And so I finally signed up with Gina, and she's a fabulous coach. But I did it, and I did it quick. It was the first time I was successful at something like this, and it meant a whole lot to me because I had a 50th birthday coming up, and I didn't want to be that fat 50-year-old. So here I am. I'm not. I haven't been this small since I was in my early 20s. But with all that being said, Gina kept pushing me. God love you, Gina. But she pushed me to coach, and I kept trying to punt clients to her. And it just so happened that the client that I was pushing to her, that was a very good friend of mine, said, no, I don't want that Gina person. If I'm going to do this, I want you. And Gina kept saying, Erin, you can do this, you can do this. And I was like, well, I'm sure I could, but I don't have time. Long story short, I'm doing it. And I'm getting better. I find myself lately, I do have a nice group under me working, but I find myself, I'm in healthcare, and I practice on my patients because I do mammograms. So I'm very personal in that type of exam. It's a conflict of interest for me to actually, push the program to them and coach them, but I sure can practice. And that's where I'm seeing my success, is that while I'm talking to them, I'm telling them little bits about me. Oh yeah, I lost 50 pounds. And then they want to know more. And so it's made me more comfortable just on the fly talking to people about the plan. And I don't feel like there's any commitment on it. Like I'm trying to sign somebody up. I'm just talking to them like we're friends, and I'm really enthusiastic about everything, and I'm telling them. And I think that has been a huge help to me, huge, because it takes me back to just, like I'm talking to friends. I'm probably rambling, but so some of the things that I've struggled with have been putting social media posts out there. And really glad that Gina pushes me, because when she does push me to do this, I get a lot of responses. I have people going, oh my gosh, I need more info. And I have to keep my courage up and understand that it's not going to immediately happen, that I'm not going to talk to them and they're going to be like, okay, I'm doing this. Although that does happen. There's some, like I just signed somebody up yesterday, I think it was yesterday, that I've been working on her for 3 months or more. And she finally just said, okay, let's do this. But I just keep reaching out to them. It takes me back to when I was in medical sales, where you just have to have constant contact with your customers. So I hope that's what you wanted to hear about me. but I'm totally enjoying this. And I think the more that I participate in these calls and coming to the meetings, and I'm going to a meeting this Friday, those are the things that help me be more comfortable. I'm hearing how everybody else presents things. I'm hearing what inspires them. And that's it.
Thank you, Erin. That was awesome. And I love what you said about just being yourself and being friendly and with people, right? Because that's
Yes.
really the basis of our business, is connecting with people authentically, forming those relationships. And I love that you're using that to practice your business. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing. So let's talk a little bit then more about filling the funnel. And Erin touched on a couple of things. And one of the things we know is, a few years ago, a lot of people, many of us, built our business on social media. And social media, the algorithms have changed. And so we have to look for some additional ways to connect with people. And if you think about it, I know one of the things Dee said to me once, and maybe Dr. A said it to her, was before social media, what did we do? We picked the phone and called people, right? And told them what we were doing and reached out. But social media is still a powerful tool. And one of the questions I think you can ask yourself is, if somebody investigated your social media, would they convict you of being a health coach? So how are you showing up? Do people know what you're doing? Is it clear what you're doing? And would people say, oh yes, Lisa's a health coach? And so one of the coaches on our team, Jordan Rosa, has had great success with social media. And she's willing to share with us a little bit about what she's done. So Jordan, if you want to, maybe you've unmuted yourself. If you can unmute yourself, or do I need to? There you go.
I got it.
All right. Thank you.
Hey. So yeah, social media is pretty much thing that I built my business. And so I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have 3 little kids. I've lost 50 pounds since July. And if it weren't for social media, I don't think I would talk to anybody right now in the season of life that I'm in. And so I have really taken time to study this and collected some things that are really helpful, that I've found helpful in my own business. So first, quick and dirty rundown of social media. First thing is, there's 6 areas that I post in consistently. They are a vulnerable post. This can be an area where you're growing. This can be a mindset shift that you're having, something where you are just being raw and honest with your followers. Second area is your personal transformation or a transformation story. And when it comes to sharing your personal story, the more vulnerable you are, the better. And I always try to show where I was and where I am now, and make a clear picture of the change that's happened. The third area is family. The fourth area is like a motivational or inspirational post. People always want to be uplifted, and we want to stay positive. We want to stay away from the drama triangle, that kind of stuff. The fifth area is health tips. And then the sixth area is usually like a funny or participation style post. I'm sure you've seen, like, how do you like your coffee? And you respond with an emoji or whatever. Those usually drum up some participation because they're just fun. And so those are the 6 areas that I post in consistently. And when I say consistently, you want to do what's recommended across the board, I think, is 3, 3, and 3, which is 3 posts, 3 friends, and 3 messages a day. I've also heard recently a newer set of numbers. So those are 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10, which is 2 posts, 4 friends, 6 stories, 8 comments of at least 4 words in a comment, and 10 personal messages. You hear about the algorithm, and what social media is looking for is relationship. And so if you do too many posts on your own page, you're actually competing with yourself. That's what I've found. And so when you are posting and have some engagement, that's great. But what you can do is then post. So if people comment, you can click on their name, go to their page, interact with a couple of their posts, then come back and respond to what they said on yours. And what this does is it shows Facebook, hey, she knows this person. There's some kind of interaction here. It's not just a drive-by comment. And that they'll start seeing your stuff more, and you'll start seeing their stuff more, etc. And then I've also recently heard to 5-in-1 your feed. So for every 5 posts, you should have at least one transformation story. Like Lisa was saying, you want people to look at your page and your last several posts to know what you're about, which is health coaching. And then the biggest thing, I think, is adding value in abundance. We have an incredible resource with the Habits of Health book. If you don't know what to post about, just open up your Habits of Health book and pick something. People are hungry for this knowledge that we have. They don't know who to trust. They don't know what's real. There's conflicting, don't eat carbs, do carb cycling, sugar is bad, sugar is not bad. Like, we have such a great, solid resource that we can share little tidbits of. And I tell you what, every time I share something from our Habits of Health book, I get messages. What is this from? Is this a book that I need? What is this about? And it opens up a conversation with those people that maybe wouldn't have otherwise reached out to me. And then the other thing to remember too is people are watching even if you don't have a lot of engagement on your post. I know sometimes you come up with like a really inspiring, awesome, out of the park post, and then you might get 1 or 2 likes, maybe none, no comments, and you're just like, what is going on? But I can tell you, even if there's no interaction, people are watching what you're posting. Just last week, I had 3 different conversations where they said, oh yeah, I saw that you posted this, and they never once interacted with that particular post. And then the last thing, which is really the first thing, I pray every day. And I say, God, lead me to the people that you want me to help, put them on my path, and I will serve them. And when I hear a whisper on my heart, when I hear somebody's name come up, or I just cannot get them off my mind, I go after it and I talk to them. I send them a message. How are you doing? You're on my heart. What's going on? And something that I learned this week too is when you lead with that, when you over, well, this is what I'm doing, can you help me? They're more likely to interact and respond. And we just want to be about people more than anything. You've heard we share and care, and that cannot be more true. Like, we want to love people where they're at. We want to bring value to their life. We want to show them, like, I'm not out to get you. I'm a real person. You're a real person. And this is, we can encourage them and love them where they're at, even with social media.
Thank you, Jordan. That was great information and things I hadn't heard before. So I appreciate you sharing that. That's awesome. And one of the other ways that people fill the funnel is through events. And a lot of you on this call have had success with events. And I know Cassie just recently had an event at a gym, her gym, I think. Cassie, are you out there?
I am.
Can you tell us a little bit about that and what,
Sure.
kind of where the idea came from, what you did, and what kind of results you got from it?
Well, I had reached out to actually my local gym where I had been going, and it kind of fell through. But I have a client who she is a member. She's actually an instructor at LA Fitness, and she kind of kept prompting me, "Hey, I've talked to the manager of this LA Fitness. You really need to kind of plug in and touch base with him." And I had his name on my list of things to do, and I hadn't gotten around to it. But once I actually started having a conversation with him and engaging with him, We set up a date. He told me how to be prepared, what to bring, what I could bring. And I just set up a table, and right there in the welcome area, I had some samples. I had some purposeful hydration with my business cards attached to it, and just started having conversations with people as they were coming and going and saying, hey, come see me after your workout. We'll have some electrolytes, some protein bars. So I got about 3 contacts and had set up share calls with these people. And he welcomed me back to come back again. So it was a really good time. I will admit that I had to call my accountability partners. You guys are on here. And I said, I'm sitting in the parking lot going, oh, I don't know if I can do this or not, but they encouraged me to do it. So it was a great time. I really enjoyed, putting myself out there, because I'm very much, one of those labeled introverts, but it was a fun time to connect with people. And I'm definitely going to do it again. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Cassie. What a great idea. I also personally find that events are really fruitful. And I was inspired. Tia Wood, Doug and Tia Wood, they're top leaders in the company. And Tia spoke at the summit in November in Arizona. And she said, you guys, take it on the road. And I said, I'm going to Wisconsin. So it literally, in that moment, I texted my sister and said, if I plan some events up there, will you help me? And she said yes. And so I ended up having 3 events. My college roommate scheduled one, Val and Ellen, if you're on the call, you guys were in on this, Christy, Dawn, we all collaborated and generated a lot of interest, and it was fun. I mean, I have family there, so I was able to stay with my sister. I didn't just randomly pick Wisconsin. But it really, I think it helps people to come and hear your voice and interact, right, and see you. And you guys, you can put these together on a moment's notice. You can do things in your house. Like I'm having a cooking class tomorrow night and inviting people to that. So you just never know, because it's all about finding ways to connect with people and get them kind of in your sphere. And another way to do that is networking groups. There's open networking where you don't have to pay a fee, and then there are plenty of groups like BNI where you do pay a fee. So I'm going to ask Beth Bilton to talk to us for just a minute about open networking, because she's done a lot of that recently.
Thanks, Lisa. I appreciate you letting me share. So open networking, it can either be low cost or just a slight fee. Open networking means that you go to a meeting, you can have like 5 real estate people, 4 financial planners, 2 health coaches, something like that. It's not just 1 seat per profession. So that's kind of what open networking is. So after coaching for about a year, I told Dee, she's my coach, and I said, I don't have any more people to talk to. And she said, you need to expand your sphere of influence. She said, why don't you go to networking? And I said, oh my God. So that was really scary. So I did. I found a friend. She had asked me, she's a realtor, and asked me to go to a networking meeting with her. So I did. So that's a great way, if you're scared to find somebody who, was in another profession, to go with you to a networking group. And ways to find different networking groups, you can check out your local business association. You can check out your local chamber of commerce. Meetup.com is a great place. I don't know if they're all over the country, but I know they're around a lot. So whatever part of the country you're in, just go meetup, meetup.com, and you can find local groups around. And if you have friends who are real estate people or financial planners or accountants, ask them what they do if they have any meetings that they go to. And when you go, be prepared. You need to have business cards, and be prepared to give what's called an elevator speech. So it can be anywhere, they'll tell you how long, anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute. You stand up, you say what you do, and then you always kind of end with a good referral for me is someone who, whatever you're looking for. And I will say at one time, I just happened to say, we have a nursing moms program. And one of the guys there, his wife was a nursing mom, which I didn't know. So I talked to him afterwards, talked to her. She became a client. She's now a coach on our team. So you just never know what you might say that just would somebody go, oh yeah, I need to, they'll think of you. And the thing is to build one-to-one relationships with people. It's called one-to-one meetings. So set up meetings to talk to people, get to know them, what they do, and how you can help them refer people, and how they can refer to you. It's just trying to build that trust with people. So I would suggest going to a couple, trying to find different meetings to go to. You got to feel comfortable in the group. And if you join the group, they'll usually tell you can do like a 10-minute presentation. And that's a great way to get really in-depth with sharing what we do as health coaches. And if you need any help, contact your business coach or ask me if you have any questions about any networking things. So thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Beth. Susan Giesland, can you tell us a little bit about your BNI group?
Yeah. Well, to kind of expand on what Beth had said, BNI means Business Networking International, and it is a closed networking group, which means that there is one seat per industry. So there would be one health and wellness coach, which is the seat that I hold in the chapter that I'm in. It does cost a yearly fee, but the people that are in your chapter are your marketing team. And the philosophy behind BNI is givers gain, which means if I give business to the members of my chapter, they will in turn give business to me. So these people in the chapter are all looking out for me, for people that might be great referrals for me. And I educate the members of my chapter through the one-to-one, getting together with them on a one-to-one basis, where I share what I do as a health coach, what's a great referral for me, and how to bring about that introduction. And I've gotten quite a few clients inside the chapter and outside the chapter from this organization. I mean, there's a lot of chapters around here, around the Atlanta metro area that I know of that are always looking for a health and wellness coach. And so you can definitely go and visit them. You can visit them, doesn't cost you anything really, unless they're one of those chapters that has lunch. Mine doesn't. But you can definitely do that. You can look it up on BNI, just kind of do a search depending on where you live. If you live in Atlanta, it would be bniatl.com. But I fought it kind of like Beth did. It was one of those step outside my comfort zone when Dee was like, you need to go to a BNI, check it out. But I'll tell you, I've been part of a BNI for 2 years. And I'm so thankful that I did this, because not only has it helped grow my business, but it's helped me grow in networking. I can go to chamber events, I can go to other open networking groups, and I've learned a lot about how to network, what's a good referral for me, how do I stand up there and give a 1-minute elevator pitch on, what is a good referral. A good referral for me is someone who, and I've said various things, from everything from a chronic dieter, somebody who's always been on the latest fad diet. That person is a good referral. Referral sources, people that are in the fitness industry, people that work with people that are health-minded, people that work in the health and wellness kind of industry that we can partner with. So there's all kinds of different ways to meet people, but the thing about BNI that's been really helpful has been that education. Yes, it's a fee, but I have made that fee back in new clients like tenfold. So it has been a really good experience for me. I would recommend, if it's something that you're considering, check out a local BNI chapter, see if there's somebody there that does not hold that seat. Because if there is somebody there that does, then you really can't talk about your business. So find one that doesn't and just check it out and visit once or twice and see if it might be something that might resonate with you.
That's great. Thank you, Susan. Great information, you guys. And one of the things that was mentioned, I think Beth called it sphere of influence. And that's another area you can look at. And one of the things you can do is kind of draw circles on a piece of paper and think about all the things that you are involved in. Your church, maybe a meetup group, a networking group, your neighborhood, your tennis team, all the different groups that you're involved in, and think about all the people in those groups, and then ask yourself, does everyone in this group know what I do? Because that's really what it comes down to, right? Does everyone know what you do, and is everyone clear on what you do? And when you talk about all the things, I mean, I joke that people thought I left ADP a year before I did, because when people asked me what I did, I said I'm a health coach. And so nobody knew that I had this corporate job. It was like my secret corporate job because all I talked about was being a health coach. So when you lead with that and when you talk about it, no matter what else you do, that starts the conversation and gets people interested as well. We have like 2 more minutes. I'd like to take 1 minute. If anybody has something that they were inspired by or they want to add to, a way to fill the funnel that's been helpful for you. Anybody want to share? No, nobody? Anybody have an event recently that was super successful?
I will say real quick, I know Frank does a lot on LinkedIn. Do you want to maybe talk about that real quick, Frank? Do you mind? I'm putting you on the spot.
Great.
Real quick. I mean, LinkedIn is like every other social media, Facebook, Instagram, everything else out there, just treated a little bit differently. It's more of a business rather than, family and friend relationship like Facebook. But we've got a number of clients from LinkedIn, and just another avenue. It works great.
Yeah, thank you, Frank. I think writing an article on LinkedIn is super easy. You guys, I was intimidated by that, but that's easy to do and generates a lot of interest. And it's just something, whatever can put you in the position of meeting more people is really the key. So, all right, before we break for Dr. A's call coming up here at 8 o'clock, I want to call out Meg Johnson. She's having a dream board event on Friday night. I know, Meg, you had something you wanted to say about that.
Yeah, thank you. What a great call. Great ideas on how to fill your funnel. And in my mind, before we fill our funnel, we need to know what we're working for and what we're working towards. So Friday night at 6:30 Eastern, we're going to have a vision. We're calling it a future board night, not a vision board, but a future board, because we're going to be designing our future. And we are going to be live streaming it in the Coaches Opt4Change page whenever we start the future board segment of it, but it'll be much better in person. We do have a couple of seats left, so we'd love for you to join us for that. So 6:30 this Friday night at our house in East Cobb. You can see more information in the Coaches Opt4Change, but hope if you're able to be there that you'll join us. It's going to be a great night. Thank you.
Thank you, Meg. Thanks, everybody, for a great call. Thanks to all our contributors, and you all have fun. Go hop over to Dr. A's call and have a great week. Finish the month strong, you guys.